Now, we just heard in our vet segment that a little chihuahua called Gigi had such bad breath. I think it was Dee who described it as 1,000 dead camels. Now, this is a real segue here because Luke Biskin, who is a fabulous singer and songwriter, coming out of Geelong, he's pretty much Geelong's favourite son. Forget about the footballers, it's this bloke. He is a guitarist, he's pretty much got a residency at a lot of bars around Geelong. You may have seen him 2000 at the Voice, where he was absolutely swept away the judges, including Guy Sebastian. But you also have a very personal relationship with a camel called Flynn, Luke. Is that correct?
I do.
Tell us a little bit about Flynn.
Oh wow, there's an opener. Well, I met Flynn. You know, I had this. When you're thinking of ideas for what you're gonna do for a music video, you're always trying to be unique, a novel. And I had this idea. I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to ride something in this video? And I thought, well, we could do a horse, but I've never seen someone ride a camel in a video.
I have never. Well, I've seen Lawrence of Arabia, but not in a music video.
Not in a music video. And so I thought, how hard could it be? And it turns out there are camel rental businesses throughout Victoria. And yeah, I found a fella, and he gave me a camel for the day called Flynn.
It is a fabulous video, and that is for a beautiful song too. That's All the Rage, is it not? It came out a few years earlier. And it's got this wonderful, Wild West feel to it, about the lone ranger out there on the beach on his camel, and at some stage there are 3 arrows that appear in his back.
That's right.
And these are the arrows of rage, and this is, in a way, that song is a lullaby realization that rage is a pretty useless thing to hang on to.
It is.
Before we hear your new song, which is Nothing to Do With Us, tell us about that guitar that you had as a kid that ended up being such a form. It was a Seagull parlor guitar.
Seagull parlor guitar.
Talk it up. Tell us about it.
Well, I was 7 years old, and for my 7th birthday, Dad came home with this cedar top, mahogany back and side little parlor guitar, a Seagull guitar, and it's such an ornate, pretty little guitar. And of course, I had little hands and I was smaller back then. And it was my pride and joy. I still have it in my bedroom.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and it's like, what is it now? It's almost 30 years old now.
Because you gave us a hint about your father. People will know your father from the incredible formative band that was Goanna.
Yeah.
Your late dad, that's Mike.
Yeah.
And he had something of a realization himself as a younger man there with Goanna, which is a band that was going places, but he had a deeper faith and a deeper sense of mission.
He did.
Separate from the band.
He did.
Took him to the UK.
Yeah.
Where you were born.
Well, I was born
in Bristol.
In Bristol.
And in Bristol, you were immersed in your father's mission, your father to care for the neglected, to care for the underclass and the impoverished.
Yeah.
Huge upbringing, massively formative for you. But in the end, it created a crossroads in your life.
It did. Yeah. It was this kind of, it was an education really in language and expression and literature and art and all those things that are in a really strange cross section. Because on one hand, Dad was obviously, he had his legacy with Goanna.
Yeah.
And rock and roll and Dylan and Neil Young and everything that came with that. And then on the other hand, it was Wesleyan hymns and the King James Bible. And so it was this like strange, beautiful melting pot of both of those worlds. Hell of an education. I feel really lucky.
Rich in verse, whether it was the verse of, the next chorus, or whether it was the verse of the Wesleyan Bible. And you were playing music. You were immersed in a sense of service and in a sense of Christian duty.
Yeah.
But in the end, you couldn't have both. Or at least you could take the faith with you, but you couldn't have the cornerstone religion. You had to choose between family and music. An impossible decision, almost a Sophie's choice. I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Yeah.
And it was the little Seagull guitar was in the end your weapon of choice.
Carried me through.
It carried you through, and you found yourself here in, it was all about 14 years ago. I think it was 2012 when you came here as a young
2012 when I came here. And the crossroads moment was in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. big moment.
And you shared this moment in part on The Voice.
I did.
Which was a huge thing to get off your shoulders and share to a national audience. How did that feel?
Well, um, I that experience, I was so careful to strike the right tone with that story because I'm not a victim, and my parents were wonderful people, are wonderful
Yes.
people, and I wanted to cut a through line that wasn't sensationalist. It wasn't kind of, to the backdrop of violins playing, but I also wanted to be honest. And I put my trust in the producers in that show. And honestly, they were really careful with it. They said, look, we want to respect your story. And when it finally aired, they actually honored my story. And I was very, very pleased with how
I've
they
been
handled
watching
that.
the episode and they've done it beautifully. You have done it beautifully. And this song, at least in a kind of that wonderful, cryptic, lyrical way, talks about these decisions and these dilemmas. Your new song, Nothing to Do With Us, which we're about to enjoy. Again, another beach scene without Flynn.
I know, just me this time.
Has Flynn written? Has Flynn emailed?
We have been in touch in our own way, yeah.
Tell us about the genesis of this song.
Well, anyone who knows me knows I'm a bag of nerves, especially about the future and my place in the world and where it's all going. And live on a macro level the outlook can look pretty spooky.
Mm-hmm.
But the deepest part of me believes it'll be okay. I think it's going to work out. I think good wins eventually, no matter how murky the forecast looks. The deepest part of me believes that love wins. It has to. And that's kind of at the core of this song. And there's a bit of my old man in it too, but it's basically like, it'll be okay. It'll figure itself out.
Let's enjoy this new track from Luke Biskin. More conversation to come. And if you want to share what that preoccupation you had as a child that became your passion or occupation, feel free to get in touch. But right now, this is Luke Biskin, his new album. We've got some dates for you as well. His new song is called Nothing to Do